Hello, and welcome once again to Race Down the Dead Road, Part 4, The Dead Garden. I am Jack, still GMing, and with me I have another small group of people who have already been introduced, so hopefully you're not dropping right into the middle, because we are going to hit the ground running, because there is a failed astrogation roll we need to deal with. So, Aiden, you return to the helm after receiving a warning from Pippa that you're about to reach your destination. And you zoom out to find, drift out of hyperspace to find, a green planet. Some distance before you, but apparently aligning with the coordinates that were originally on the star chart you took. However, before you can even get any closer to the planet, you all of a sudden get weapon lock warnings, and
evasive maneuvers. Do we have the sunflare on here anywhere?
yes,
there
at the
it is.
bottom.
Way down. Okay, I was zoomed in too far. Oh,
Suddenly, a massive amount of sensor signatures start pinging off the radar, and you see several ships that were in orbit suddenly turn to face you. I'm gonna need both of you to roll initiative.
okay. That sounds like a vigilance.
Yes.
Combat vigilance. I can get that in. I'm ready whenever you are, Jack.
All right. All right. That's all of them.
Let's see.
So I vote we do not directly engage because this just looks bad.
I agree.
Also, they all go first. No, sorry. You could.
I beat
You can't move.
one of them.
Yeah.
All right. The planet is about planetary
Actually,
long distance from you.
Okay. So two of them go first, and then we can make a maneuver potentially.
Yeah, we go third and fifth.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I won't paste it over because it's pretty simple.
You detect two of the groups in orbit breaking off and rising up to the upper levels of the atmosphere. So they're going to close into medium. Actually, no, they both can. And they are going to open fire on the Sunflare.
They have range for that.
Yes, they do.
Most ship weapons are close.
Except for missiles and stuff.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yep. Speaking of, as you're thinking about that, you do detect on the sensors several pieces of the ships kind of breaking off and shooting towards you.
In a way that's very different than a missile. It's like a piece of the ship breaking off.
No, it looks comparable to a
Okay.
missile. Once you get some once it gets a bit of distance from the original ship, you can detect it more cleanly.
Makes sense.
All right.
Okay.
You said you're doing evasive maneuvers. That adds how many setback to this?
Evasive maneuvers.
It's an upgrade.
I believe.
It's an upgrade
Yeah.
each way.
Okay.
So it's an upgrade for our attacks and their attacks against us.
All right.
And is there anything? I'm just looking at my talents here. I do have defensive driving, so I have 2 ranks of defensive driving. So whatever the shields are, it's probably max now, right?
It's max.
Yeah,
it'll be
it'd
four.
be 4 setback.
None of this other stuff can be done unless it's my turn. Yeah, because Billion Evasion is an action.
Yeah, the only thing would be like some sort of incidental, but I don't think there's like a dodge for piloting or anything.
However, I do have Tricky Target. So our silhouette counts as one lower.
Ooh, alright, that's enough to bump up the difficulty.
Oh, sweet. Good catch.
Yep.
So hard, 1 upgrade, 4 setbacks?
There's actually going to be one more setback on top of this that is unrelated to your ship, but yes.
Excellent.
Oh, damn.
What?
That's a lot of threat, but oh my god, the successes on there.
Yeah. Oh, dear.
Does that just take us out entirely? Like this-
No, the Sunflare has like 5 armor.
Okay.
Yes.
Still, that's not nice.
Yeah. So, even despite your excellent flying, the missile is able to just keep a bead on you and just slam right next to the cockpit. A big plume of flame obscures your view for a moment, and the ship shudders. Let's see here. That would be... Okay, that's 4.
The ship doesn't have any visible bars, by the way, so I don't know.
It's on the dossier, unless you want to add it to the...
It actually should have... Oh, man, I thought this token had it. Alright, well, I'm going to let you guys be able to edit that token, so you can put it on there if you want
Okay.
to. So that does... Shit, that's 8 successes.
It's a lot of successes, yeah.
So
Yep.
that's 12 damage.
That is not nice.
the 7.
However, after a bit of a retcon, after you detect that missile launching, you also detect a small explosion coming from this ship right here.
The one that launched it?
Yeah.
Okay.
In fact, you probably even see it visually, despite the range, just a small flare of light coming from it.
Alright.
I'm going to say that's going to compromise its next its attacks using the missiles. In fact, it's done using missiles.
Its missile launcher overheated or something.
Actually, you know what?
Yeah,
For 6 threat, I'll say not only is the missile launcher disabled, but because I'll say it tried to double tap, it fired a second missile, but that second missile hit one of its fighters, causing that one to be destroyed.
That is a critical malfunction. Holy crap.
So that ship's done shooting missiles, and it also lost one of its fighter escorts. All right, second one. This group is also going to try firing a missile at you. That actually doesn't keep the dice.
I'm going to flip in defense on this one.
Okay.
Yeah. So, there we go.
All right. Not even enough to activate the guide quality. All right. That missile, luckily, even despite the initial attack, you're able to swing the Sunflare around once more as the missile just flies off into oblivion.
So now it's us, right?
Yes.
We have 1 turn now, yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking Supreme full throttle and just barrel on through down to the planet. What do you think?
Go for it.
Because distance doesn't matter in space anyway, so...
For difficulty, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so Supreme full throttle, because we're already going, we'll say max speed, right? So...
Yeah, you dropped out of hyperspace, probably going 3.
yeah, so this should bring us up to 5. And I'm going to use this as a maneuver, so I'm going to take 2 personal strain for that, because I have... That's what, once an encounter or once a round? How often is that? I don't remember.
For which?
Sorry, hold on. I keep accidentally clicking on the launcher for something else. Master pilot? Yes. Once per round. Okay, so I can do this every round if I needed to. Good to know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for Master... Yeah, the Masters tend to be once per round, I think.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to use this as maneuver, and... Actually, we're not going to fire at them, are we?
I was not going to, no.
Yeah, I mean, I've been saying like I wouldn't need to either. So maybe instead of doing that, well, no, except I can do the action first and then the maneuvers. So yeah, so I'll do the action and then take 2 just fly maneuvers to just go as far past them as I can.
All right, going speed 5, it just takes how much distance? I think you can cover.
Well, I have to roll the piloting check for that first, though, right?
Yeah, I'll look for the range bands for pilot. Okay. 5 is 2 maneuvers from long to close.
So that actually completely bypasses them. And you don't.
So I have to roll the average piloting check first. I mean, not that I can't make it easily,
Okay.
but
Yeah, I am going to say, though, that because you're kind of having to fly, I'd say probably between these two little mini fleets here, that there is going to be upgrades just to see if they can get a parting shot at you as you fly past them.
sure.
Alright, so and it's an average check. Okay.
I've already
I'm
put
gonna
in my
upgrade
negative
it.
setbacks.
I'm going to upgrade it once per each fleet that can try and shoot at you, and also flip to add one more.
So now it's a hard check.
Fun.
You can just add the upgrades and it'll do it. So
Let me just make sure I have the right. I do. Okay. So I'm gonna flip as well, so I don't upgrade on my side. Give myself an extra die. And piloting go. Oh yeah.
Alright. Yeah, so you're able to fly the Sunflare all the way into the upper atmosphere of the planet, and the ships, like you can see them, like you could, as you fly by, you notice that it is like two kind of smooth hull ships with some weird sails in the back. You've seen us before when you were on Vol. Basically, that looks like a HUD he's designed, but they seem to just slowly lumber around as they try to maneuver themselves back around to shoot at you.
Do they look like the Survey Corps, or like any particular group that we knew?
No, that it looks like their hut design, and they were here before you, which makes you think. Yeah. After seeing all the racers, these don't appear to be affiliated with any of them.
Okay.
all right, cool. That was for the Triumph, I assume.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was gonna say my plan for my turn was to do the scan the enemy, but I would have basically just figured out what you told us, so that works well.
All right. So you're in the upper atmosphere of the planet. This one mini fleet hasn't gone yet, and they're still kind of in short range with you now. Like they're here, you guys are there, and it's one.
I didn't even see them up there.
Yeah, and one NPC gets to go before his Evo can, right?
Yep.
Okay, so that ship is going to try shooting at you, but you don't detect missiles. This one is using a straight up standard weaponry. I guess missiles are conventional weaponry.
Would they get some kind of extra setbacks because we were in atmosphere and they're not?
Sure. I'll add one more.
Yeah, why not?
All right.
Don't forget the tricky target.
Yeah, so it's going to be a basic hard, and you're still doing defensive driving? Or did
I
you...
mean, it's not a choice, it just happens.
Yeah, defensive driving's passive.
No, I meant for... I'm sorry, I said defensive. I meant
Oh,
evasive maneuvers.
Yeah, those are still going on, yeah. We
Okay.
didn't- Yeah.
Yeah, they're not going to try and do something as complex as gaining advantage. So that adds one setback, another setback. Okay.
Sounds like they're too big to use advantage anyways.
Gonna use one more dark side.
Well, the fighters that are with them might not be, but how do they succeed? And how do they not have more setbacks?
They're not firing... Oh, you know what? You're right. I completely forgot about the shields. Hold on, I'll roll 3 more. Alright, that adds a lot more threat, but they still hit you for 3 successes. And that will
Which
do...
one was this? The missiles or the...
It's not a missile, it's standard laser
standard
fire.
laser fire? Okay.
So 3 success.
Yeah, that hits you for 8 damage.
Okay, so it'll be 3 after the armor.
Yep.
And for the threat, I'll say once again, they try and fire just kind of spray and pray barrage of blaster fire, and once again hit their own fighter escorts.
And these guys suck. I mean, they're hitting us somehow, but they suck as far as preserving their own fleet.
All right, and
Either that or they just don't care.
with that,
So now it's Zevo. I think maybe you could do like a... What's your perception like?
Not bad.
I'm thinking maybe like a
Yellow
find a
and
place where we can get hidden on the planet.
Yeah, I can try that. So can I try a perception to find a good kind of landing spot out of the way of these people?
yeah, sure. I'll add a couple of setbacks to that because of the situation,
Okay.
and yeah, I think that's fair. All right, difficulty set.
All right. Let me just see if I have. Well, I guess gear to remove wouldn't work at this range. All right.
That's not bad.
Okay, yeah, you notice... Okay, a bit of a mix between the triumph and the threat. You notice that there is a sort of forest. It looks like it's forested area in the scanners, but what you see is that there is a bit of a tough storm flying over the area right now. So if you go into that, the cover will be absolute. Will pretty much be absolute from orbit.
And then they won't know where we've gone from there.
Yeah.
That sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, let's see here. But the order does reset, which means 2 NPCs get to go first.
Yes.
All right.
Maybe you can make your or make your free talking action as telling my R7 unit that is on board, which I forgot to tell you about, to attempt to make some repairs, maybe.
I can do that as a incidental.
Yeah.
All right. That sounds like damage control, which will let you heal 1 whole trauma unless it has any extra ranks.
Well, it's per success though, right? Or for every. Like it's not just 1; it's 1 plus successes, I think.
No.
Okay. Yeah, and it's like a hard mechanics check.
Yeah, it's only once per encounter, but yeah.
All right. Well, I think you probably know your droid's mechanics, so I've set the difficulty. If you want to have it, go ahead and roll for its kind of free action.
Yep, it's not the greatest, but it's not terrible. Okay. So I'll just roll it as Aiden, but through the thing.
Well, except we're under half, so it should just be.
Is it determined by that?
Let me check the little cheat sheet I have.
It's on the dossier on the tab for our ships, but yeah, it's the same.
Yeah, it's the same as medicine.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Change it then.
Okay. Yes, that should be easy.
Yep.
Really? All right.
All right. Luckily, the patch job he did over the airlock is still working. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to help out with any of the actual damage. All right. So now
Fair enough.
the fleet over here that is still intact is going to try and fire another missile at you.
Don't forget the being in atmosphere setback that we talked
Yep.
about. And what's the Destiny like? I'll flip in defense as well.
There's going to be a lot of setback on this. All right. All right, for once. No, for I guess the second time they missed. The missile flies wide and actually shoots itself into the storm, and you see a small yellow.
Just fizzles out.
It apparently explodes on the surface. You see like a little flash of light, but you almost lose it in the thunder. All right, second turn is actually going to be the fleet that's still in upper orbit. They're going to try shooting at you again.
Maybe you should have used the upgrade on the other one, but oh well.
Yeah, that was the missiles.
No, I guess it doesn't really matter either way, so. They have the same roll, I would think.
All right, this time they hit you, and that's for 7 damage.
2 more on the ship.
For the threat, though, it looks like they're trying to. You can see that the ships are trying. That small fleet is trying to dip itself into the atmosphere, and you can tell that they are not agreeing with it.
They're just coming in too hot.
Yeah, it looks like some of the fighters are like visibly vibrating from the force. All right.
All right.
I think it's
I would like to pilot us in through the storm then.
All right.
Once more into the breach.
I'm gonna turn that down a bit since the most tense moments have passed. All right. Your piloting difficulty is set.
Would shortcut apply to this? We are trying to get away from them.
What is? Let me hear the actual text for the talent.
During a chase, the character adds boosts equal to his ranks in shortcut to any checks to catch or escape an opponent.
Yeah.
Yes, it counts? Okay.
Yeah.
I will add my 2 boosts to
This
that.
isn't out and out a chase, but I think it's
I
worth
mean,
it.
we're being chased. It's
Yeah,
kind of
and then you can tell they'll try to follow you onto the planet if you're not able to hide. So yeah,
Right. It's not a mechanical chase, but it is a narrative chase.
yeah.
and I'm going to take 2 strain to showboat during this. Hmm. Just trying to think of a way that showboating would matter.
I mean, just actually flying into a storm by itself.
Yeah. Nah. If it was something like where I was like, it wouldn't make sense for him to show off here. He's just doing his thing. So
If you had an audience, basically.
yeah, if there was I mean, there's a hot audience, but then again, we're also kind of going against their whole game. So I will flip for this though, just to add an extra die for myself. Because I can imagine flying directly into a storm isn't going to be the simplest thing ever. And go.
Nice.
Oh, I got a triumph anyway. It works out.
All right, yeah, you're able to dive into the planet, and it looks. And as you start, right before your sensors start to get a bit muddled by the interference of the storm, you can tell that the ships apparently have broken off pursuit.
All
So
right,
now
cool.
they're not able to see you, and now they're not even able to try and chase you because of that.
Would that triumph be that kind of where I mean, we already know this is kind of the whole point of this going this way was to get through to be undetected. So I don't know if the triumph would be that, but could the triumph be more that we're just very close to where we wanted to go? Jack?
Maybe.
Oh. Yeah.
I'm thinking. It takes me a second.
All right.
Uh,
I mean, feel free to put whatever else you want in there instead. It's just a suggestion.
I have an idea for it.
Okay.
Probably somewhat a bit of a compromise between the two. Well, especially because this is something that hides you. It's not something that would make them stop immediately.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a bit of tit for tat here. They may be giving up for the sake of something else. Meanwhile, you pull over, and while the storm does obscure your vision somewhat, you see that a good portion of this terrain around you appears very swamp-like.
Now this looks like a hot world.
Yeah. The map didn't indicate anything about the planet, really, just where it was.
Whoa.
That was. Yeah.
Uh,
No, the map was more of a.
the map tells you where the
floor.
system is,
Yeah.
and if you're just happen to be good enough, it points kind of directly to a planet. But
Cool.
as to any special features, no, these maps seem to be devoid of that sort of stuff. All right, you're still in the sun flare, dealing with a bit of the chop of the storm. For what seems like all around you, it seems like a pretty wet wetland with some tree cover here and there.
All right, we'll fly around until we get to a good landing spot. That's nice and covered.
All right.
Maybe put out the camouflage netting once we've landed.
Yeah, that came in handy on the last world, or in theory anyway.
All right, go ahead and. I mean, are you? Give me your preferences for a landing spot. Are you okay as long as there's cover, or do you want it specifically to be dry?
I mean, not in the swamp, but as long as it makes it seems like a good landing spot and is preferably covered.
Yeah, more like Luke's second landing on Dagobah than Luke's first landing on Dagobah.
Yes.
All right.
Luke's first landing is not something I would want to intentionally do.
Yeah.
I would say that you know that you're probably going to have to aim you're going to have to aim to barrel through some of the canopy in order to actually get the ship on solid ground. And
If the ship can take a few missiles, it should be able to take that.
Oh no, a spare branch got into one of the holes.
Oh, in that just repaired airlock.
R7 beeps. It's like, worked so hard.
No, he did well with what he had.
All right. It doesn't take that long until you find a larger patch of canopy that you're sure is probably on top of solid ground. And so you kind of just get the ship over it, and then slowly cutting powerful lifts, just have it slowly start to just compress the canopy until it cuts through. There's a lot of scraping noises, but the ship can take it.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually the ship hits solid ground, sinks in a little bit because it is muddy,
We kind of expected that.
and then you can see the canopy is somewhat squat. Like the tops of the trees are probably just a little bit below the fins of the cruiser.
Is that a Jedi in the bottom right there?
Maybe.
Looks like he's got a lightsaber.
Who the heck knows? That's what happens when you try and use concept art.
Yep. All right, so we get out of
So
the
it sounds like a little netting to cover up those top fins.
Yeah, is there a check that comes with that item, or is it just something I make up?
It adds. I mean, it doesn't. What it does is it specifies, I believe, 2 failures on checks to
find it.
find it. So it doesn't really give a check to set it up. I think.
I mean, it's bad. I mean, I can't be hard to just throw it on top of it, right? So,
Right. It sounds like the challenge here, if any, would be climbing up into a tree rather than the actual placement of the netting.
Yeah. And,
Yeah, 2 failures to whatever it's hiding to find it.
okay. So that probably takes about 30 minutes as you bring it all out to the top, through a top hatch, and then after tying it to some nearby trees, get it to cover to run over the obstructions.
Makes sense.
all right. Before we depart the ship, I tell R7 to kind of do what he can with the hull while we're away.
R7 looks around. There's probably a couple of panels that have been blown in by the force of the impacts. And he just goes, I'll try.
That's all I'm asking, buddy. Give him a little pat on the head.
Alright. Whoop whoop. It just wheels off. Alright. And then you climb back down into the swamp area, and where do you want to go?
Do we have any indication of where anything is?
You probably want to climb back into the sun flare and try your scanners to see if you can detect any.
Just before we actually exit the sun flare, I guess we'll run the scan. Where we are, yeah.
There is going to be again some interference from the storm, and what you can probably figure is a lot of life signs. But if you want to go ahead and roll a perception, you may try.
You can give it a go.
What was Elo's roll for that again?
It was 3 yellow, 1 green.
In that case, I will provide unskilled assistance.
Lovely. Let me know when you're ready, Jack.
Alright, are you adding the boost? Because
I've added the boost.
Okay, then let me just take it off this.
Yeah, I feel like we should come up with a system like anything player added, the player should add.
Okay,
Hey, that makes sense.
you're
Yeah.
good to roll.
Okay.
Oh, you
Alright.
didn't roll the boost.
Oh.
Did you not click off of the thing?
Oh, I clicked at the bottom. Yeah. Okay, I clicked next to the skill, not up at the top.
Alright, go
How
ahead
do
and
you-
roll the boost by itself.
Well, you can still do it next to the skill. You just have to click off of the little of the
I
text
can
box
click
for the.
Okay, that's good to know.
Alright, go ahead and just roll the boost by itself and see what happens. Alright, 1 threat.
Yeah, not bad.
Okay, so you do detect a very... when you recognize something is off by a void in the life signs you're detecting. Because the scanners kind of just light up with like, oh hey, the entire area around you is alive. But then you notice there's this small area to the northwest that is just completely dead, apparently. I'd say the threat is it's a bit of a hike.
Well, that seems like as good a clue as any.
Take the hover sled.
Yeah. Would outdoorsmen count for that, or do you have to be on foot for that matter? I mean, because it would still kind of apply to, you know, picking the right way to go and all that.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Because it's just overland travel times. It doesn't specify on foot.
What about the full text?
I had the full text.
Oh, okay.
I don't copy the short text just so I know there's never a discrepancy for me. The character moves setback per rank of outdoorsman from checks to move through the terrain or manage terrain or environmental effects. Decrease overland travel times by 50%. Doesn't say what kind of overland travel times.
Okay, I would say it would apply to the hover sled, but the problem with using the hover sled is that the area is either dense woods, which you just have difficulty fitting the hover sled in, or a wetland. And now, of course, there are some areas where it's just very soggy ground, so that would probably be no difficulty for the repost to live. But like I decided earlier, taking it over open water is a big difficulty. If
Yeah,
not,
I'm fine with hoofing it, but
Yeah, hoofing it's
Aiden
fine.
is Zevo just enjoys the comfort.
Yeah, yeah, it wouldn't necessarily be a check to go over open water, right? It's just not going to work. Is that that's what you ruled last time, I think.
yes.
Yeah.
It would certainly get pretty much impossible when the water gets relatively deep.
Mhm.
All right. So now you have a heading, and disembark from the sun flare. For the first leg of your journey, go ahead and roll me a survival check, just to make sure you avoid the general dangers of the swamp. The difficulty...
I am minus a setback on that because of outdoorsman. Hooray.
Is this one each or?
Yeah,
One
for
for both.
one for both of you.
I have more cunning, but nothing beyond.
Yeah, you probably got a better roll than me, so because I've only got a yellow.
You don't have any skill.
No, I have skill, but I don't have as many. I don't have as much cunning.
Okay, so you can borrow the cunning.
What
we're
sort
doing
of-
individual.
Yeah, you're gonna have to both roll your own checks.
Oh, sorry. I asked if it was which way, and I heard.
Why did the
One
GM?
for the-
Oh, you're looking for each of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
However, right before you roll, do any of you have actual gear that would help you with sort of a swampland environment?
That's a good question.
Zevo's armor is sealed.
Okay.
keep the
Aiden has the
musket.
rebreather that he got from Banner's not last time, but the time before.
All
Whatever
right.
it was.
I'd say the rebreather is actually going to add setback on these sort of rolls, just because.
I had a setback.
Well, I guess you wouldn't be wearing it, would you? You would just have it to use.
Yeah.
Okay, so never mind. If you had it on the entire time, then I'd add a setback because it's humid. It would probably just get difficult to wear. But
Yeah, if it's not necessary on its own, I would say yeah, I'm not going to use it. Then.
I mean, it
Until I need
smells pretty bad because there's just swamp gas. But yeah, there's no need to put it on continuously.
Yeah, I don't have anything specifically survival helpfully.
All right.
Yeah,
Purple
except
stuff.
the sealed armor.
So Zevo is going to get. You can take 2 setback off on yours. If you go up to the dice pool, just put -2 setback. But I'm not going to change the dice pool for Aiden.
Okay,
Or rather,
Okay.
Aiden can't change the dice
and
pool.
it automatically adds the upgrade. No, it doesn't. But you've added it.
Yeah, I've added the upgrade to the difficulty.
Okay. Where's my survival?
All right, I
Here
think
it
I'm
is.
ready.
All that. Yeah.
Oh, I was looking at your roll. I was closer than I thought.
We still both failed.
All right. So unfortunately, just in the travel time, the humidity and just the general discomfort of the swamp, even for a hut, gets to both of you. Aiden needs to take a 4 strain. Zio takes 3.
I am using second wind to get 3 of it back, so I only get 1 out of that.
Okay. As you near continue along the heading, you eventually reach a point where the generally marshy ground gives way and just seems like to become an open plain of water. You can't tell how deep it is because it's murky. You could circumvent it, but that is definitely going to add a lot more time onto your travel time because it looks like it's kind of just as big as that lake you encountered on the first planet.
Well, like I did with that lake on the first planet, I will pull out my electro binoculars and see if I can make out anything thermally active in the water.
All right. This is going to be another perception check, but you...
I should probably pass it to Zivo in that case, actually. But yeah.
Well, actually, when you look through the binoculars, you see that the water itself is generally warm. Like it is kept at a specifically warm temperature, so it's going to be generally harder to see through.
Right.
So this is going to make it a daunting check.
Yeah, so I'll bring it over to Zivo and be like, hey, see if you can make out any dangerous-looking creatures under there. Looking for large heat signatures.
Is this just letting us make the check, no bonuses from it?
Yeah, because otherwise you just wouldn't be able to see through the water.
Right. So I'll take unskilled assistance, and then ready on your end?
Yep.
Perception.
Oh, well, we got it at least. Not that Aiden helped, apparently.
Yeah.
All right. As you look through the water, your eyes are able to tell that there is definitely one very long signature that just seems to keep swirling around, kind of like the middle of this lake. It kind of jolts sometimes, as you probably figure it's snatching up some sort of prey. But as you pan down to look closer, you see that there is a relatively large, thicker figure with kind of all splayed out like a lizard. And as you're looking at it, you can tell that, oh wait, this thing has a definable head. Oh shit, the head's looking at me. And as you suddenly put the necklace down to warn Aiden, this giant, like, lizard salamander creature emerges from the water and immediately tries to attack you. Roll initiative.
There's Nardell when you need him.
Would this be cool since we were kind of looking out for things?
Doesn't seem like it's this thing. Like
this thing. I mean, you were looking for things in a giant lake. I don't think you were expecting any of them to immediately go and attack you. So.
Yeah, fair enough. Just figured I'd check just in case.
Yeah, fair enough. You always no harm in asking.
All right, I'll take that.
Yeah, I'll take that too. That's not bad, considering the roll I got for initiative. Now, is it a chemilizard? It is, I think.
I'm using the picture of it because that's the best representation. But actually, since you both are familiar with now Hada's ecology, this thing has a lot of similarities to it, but you can tell its hide looks a lot thicker. In fact, it even has some what looked like to be large plates, natural plating on it in several places.
Maybe it's a distant evolutionary relative.
without his knowledge check, you could probably figure it's something akin to that. But as for more details as to what it actually can do and how it differs, you are going to need a knowledge check.
So how far is it from us at the moment?
I would say it's short range. Like,
okay.
It was kind of waiting. You could, in fact, because it's a predator, it was waiting on the banks for something to approach. And while you're looking for something,
like ambush hunting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Now for the creature.
We should probably try using the built-in initiative at some point. It's really easy to use, which is nice.
If there was ever a point where we had like more than an easily trackable number, like for that fleet battle, maybe. But
yeah,
the rest
I mean,
of
for
the
this,
combat,
it's just 3 of us. Yeah.
It'll convert like successes, like the.
Oh
way
yeah, it automatically fills in the initiative slots in that roller. Actually, when you roll the initiative button.
That's cool.
Even for if you have NPCs too, you can just roll it on their sheet. Like if you set up a sheet for the NPC.
Right.
You roll it for them, and it automatically adds it.
All right. Unfortunately, it looks like this guy gets to go first.
Of course it does.
All
Imagine
right.
he's going after Zevo, because Zevo was the one that was right there, apparently.
Yes, actually.
Hooray! Aiden's not targeted first for once.
Its
This whole mission has been go straight for Aiden.
He makes himself such a tempting target. All right, so this thing is just going to out and out try and bite you.
It's because he's
your
rugged
melee
beast.
defenses?
4.
4. Wow.
Wow.
This thing is going to have a tough bite.
This is the Zevo mech.
That's true. You are now armored Zevo.
Do you want to flip to make it even harder for it?
We do have 3 light.
Yeah, I'll do it. Why not?
All right.
Plus, I've never flipped on the new system, so.
First time for everything. Yeah, I mean, pretty much the biggest problem I have with this roller, and it's not even that big of a problem, is that you can't see the destiny points at all times.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Wow, how did that...
It's big and incredibly strong.
Is it so big that there should be added difficulty?
No, it's still at 2.
It was worth a shot.
Yes. I've become more accustomed to that after a couple of these sessions. All right, so it's going to hit you for... Oh,
Well, at least you get a lot of soak out of that armor,
It
too, I'm
helps
sure.
you for 12 damage, pierce 5.
Ouch.
That pierce.
So much for that soak, then.
Yeah, those teeth are like knives.
So it's biting at him, right?
Yeah.
I'm aiming in its mouth.
It didn't have any advantage, so we can't use any of this stuff. Well,
And
it's
does he
actually,
want to
its
go
mouth
first,
is kind of locked around Zevo right now.
I was going to say, maybe I should take a maneuver to get away before
Yeah,
you-
that would be good, yes.
All right.
Or just me.
In fact,
I guess I'll have it suffer a strain. There's not much you can do with one threat.
It'll take you. Yeah. All right. Fair enough. It's still biting through that shell armor, so it no doubt had to take a little bit of damage from that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Metal scrap and stuff. Yeah, so I will slither back to short. Quick draw my rifle. And I just want to confirm that I set the rifle profile up correctly.
Make sure there's no parentheses or anything, because that breaks it, by the way.
If there's no what?
Like, if you put any kind of parentheses or anything on it, make sure you take those
Oh,
out.
I don't think so, but I'll double
Yeah. Yeah, it breaks all the stats showing up when you roll it.
check. So I go here, I go combat. Gotta pick the right weapon. Rifle. 2A3. Yeah, okay. I took one maneuver to go backward. And I'll intense focus. Is that a maneuver or incidental? It's incidental. It's a maneuver. I will not do that. Does it have defense?
Yes. It has.
Oh, he'll fill it in, but yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but I'm not going to use my talent to remove defense if it doesn't have defense to remove.
It has defenses.
Okay.
In fact, yes, it has defenses.
I will use precise aim. Does it have fewer than 2 defense?
No.
All right. I'll use precise aim to remove 2 defense.
And are you shooting or hitting?
I am shooting.
Okay, just wanted to make sure I got the difficulty right.
Yeah, I appreciate the check. Okay, I think I'm ready. Sorry for being a little slow there. Move, quick draw. Yeah.
Wow, that was... Wow.
Well, I guess they rolled blank, so it didn't matter, but... Wow, yeah, that stinks.
It had 4 defense?
No,
Holy
it had
cow.
it had 2.
Did you not click off of the thing?
No, I didn't click off.
Either way, it doesn't matter since they rolled blank anyways. But yeah, you still failed. Yeah, your shots. I would say you actually uh, hit it, but unfortunately it shifts the way that you only hit the plates, and the plates just like glow red hot for a moment before actually fading. It's
For that much
odd.
advantage, you could maybe pull something out of that, but I don't know what.
Uh,
Yeah, I'm going to get whatever I can out of it. So what do I have? 7?
yes.
All right.
And
Well,
after he decides that, that's when Jack will drop the despair ball on you.
Yeah, sure. Give me some time to think about it.
I will negate its defense
That's a good one.
um, for 3. So basically, the idea here, I guess, is that wherever Zevo hit it, the rifle, it's a real powerful rifle. So even though it didn't really get a good hit here, the heat has an energy has softened up the hard armor there, at least temporarily.
So
I
there's a nice like spot that we don't necessarily need to aim at specifically to hit.
yeah,
Yeah.
or like it reared up from just the kind of non-lethal pain and exposed a fleshy bit or whatever, something like that.
Sure.
Yeah.
I will give it a setback and give Aiden or the next character, in this case Aiden, a boost, and I'll recover a strain.
All right.
All right. So Jack, I'll add that boost on my side.
Okay.
When I go.
As for the despair,
Read that.
As for the despair, once you shoot it and it kind of reacts to that stinging sensation of the blaster shots, it rears up its head, ooh, ooh, ooh,
Oh God.
and gives kind of like that weird hooting call that just echoes across the entire lake. For now, you don't see any response. But
Okay.
that was definitely really loud.
This seems like unmatched mobility time. Just because this could go south real fast. So
We're like at least southeast right now. So.
yeah. um, so I'm gonna fire at its exposed fleshy bits with both of my blasters, and so that has an accurate, which I already have on the gun, and my character sheet is way too many pages. Yeah, so I'm going to use... Don't I have a thing here? No, of course I don't. Yeah, okay. So yeah, I'll just fire into its stomach at short range with
Alright.
both blasters.
It's not going to have any defense, but it is still going to have its adversary. Alright, go ahead.
Alright. Alright. And go. Yeah, that's both blasters there.
Crucial triumph.
So I'm going to... So the first shot, let's do damage first. So the first shot would be 9 damage, pierce 1. The second one is 12, pierce 3.
Okay, let me just pull this up so I can do the math. What was the first blaster again?
9, pierce 1.
9 pierce 1.
If you look the numbers on the on the thing. There.
Okay, yeah. So actually, the first blaster shot, it hits the hide and does no damage.
Wow.
All right. So what's your second shot?
12, pierce 3.
12 pierce 3. Okay, that one does find purchase. While the other one hits the
How
hide,
much
it
scope
has,
does this thing have?
you might want to do a psychology check.
Okay.
However, you did do damage, so if you want to crit,
Yeah, only on the second one though, right?
yeah.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Since I guess this
I
is
have
inflicting a crit, go ahead and roll the D100, and I'll just put in the problem on its token.
So I technically had 11 advantage here, but I used 2 of them, so I have 9 left. So yeah, I'll use 3 of those for the crit, which would be 52.
No vicious, right?
No vicious on these, no.
52. You'll remember this one. Fearsome Wound.
Oh
Reduces
yeah,
the
that
difficulty
one.
of all
Yeah.
presence and willpower checks.
The most useful crit on the majority of enemies you can shoot with it.
Right. If it decides to, try to talk us down, he's gonna have a hard time with it. Which he would already have with Zevo's 7 ranks and nobody's fool.
Yeah, that's true. All right. For the other 6 advantages I have, do you have any suggestions, Jack, for that?
Well, you could give it no defense again.
I'm not sure how much that's even going to matter with how tough this thing is.
Yeah, I agree. You could give yourself some defense. Give it another setback.
Yeah.
Um,
If you have any kind of narrative suggestions, Jack,
oh yeah, that too.
for 6 advantage and/or triumph.
6 advantage. Oh! This is kind of funny.
Okay.
So, I would say that in a connection with the Beast Call and your blaster, like the smell of ozone and the general scuffle you're creating, you notice that the water around the creature is starting to be disturbed, and just all of a sudden, a giant tail, almost as big as the actual lizard, whips out and wraps itself around the creature and starts trying to pull it into the water.
I think now is our time to run.
The classic, always a bigger fit.
Yes. I'm good with that.
It is
Yep,
going
works for
to. It's turn now. It's going to. I'm going to have it first roll a check to see if it can resist being pulled in, and if
Okay.
it succeeds, it's going to be able to attack you. But even if it succeeds, I'm going to say it's restrained.
Okay. Now, the question then becomes, was that everything, or was that just some of it?
How many advantage did you have left over?
6.
Uh,
And a triumph. So.
I'd actually say this only costs you the triumph.
Oh, sweet. Okay. So I'll use 3 to get rid of all my strain, because why not? And
Another setback for 2.
yeah, sure. Yeah, and 2 to kind of, I've discouraged it from attacking me a little bit. So setback.
Okay. Alright, so first it's going to have to roll its athletics.
And it's got 2 set. Well, I guess we. Yeah, the setbacks will be on this
Combat
roll.
checks, really.
Well, I'd
Right.
say, I mean, if you inflicted damage, I could say simply because it's wounded, the setback's going to apply to this.
Yeah, it says
It's
next.
all up to you.
Normally things don't tend to make multiple actions on a single turn, which is why
Yeah.
I think it's a little vague in this case. But I think this makes sense.
Mhm.
Okay, so 2 setback, and then the creature's athletics. Oh god.
Oh, it has no ranks? That's really handy. I don't think that's the case.
No, well, you're about to see. All right.
Oh,
Yeah,
dear.
No. It tries to whip one of its claws out, and the tail kind of tries to dart around and hit Zevo, but both get pulled back, and all of a sudden the entire lizard, with just a long streaking of the mud with its claws, is just dragged entirely back into the water, and just the water around the bank starts to just thrash as
Aiden turns to Zevo and says, "I think now's the time to exit."
Yep.
So yeah, we make a dash. We're not going to enter the water. I think we'll just go around. It seems like probably a good idea.
Yeah, go around is obviously the right choice at this point.
Yeah,
There's plenty of buffer from the edge of this lake.
yeah.
Okay. So you skirt the edge. Go ahead and roll me another survival.
Okay, outdoorsman removes a setback. Also, keep in mind the time savings from that.
My armor still removes, what, 2 setbacks, we said?
Yes. This one is actually going to have a natural upgrade because there is a giant predator on the near the banks of the lake. So
And you're going to add that in, right?
yeah, if it's
We get a boost because we're like fully aware of it,
you know what? Fair enough. Yeah,
and it's also kind of distracted.
We got a boost?
true.
Yeah.
So you get, in fact, let's go ahead and make this the policy. If it's something positive in favor of you, you guys add it. But if it's something negative, that's all me. That way we have a clear delineation between who's adding what.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So we're adding a boost for that, just to be safe.
Yes.
To be sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. The difficulty is set.
Ugh. I think I blanked last time, too.
All right. What's our destiny sitting at?
1 light.
Oh, then I'm just gonna roll then. Nope. Actually, should I second chances that?
You need to get it from...
The boost and the 1 green, which isn't
You have
amazing
to
odds.
reroll... Yeah. Oh, you have...
Mm.
Okay, you've got a couple ranks in it, at least.
I have 2 ranks, yeah.
But then you're going to risk a lot of threat, so I don't know what the...
Yeah, so I feel like an advantage but not succeeding in survival would just mean we're taking a bit of strain as opposed to... Yeah, I'm okay with that. I'll just stick with it.
All right. So unfortunately, the fact that there is such a giant creature nearby that probably could swallow both of you whole puts a bit of a toll on both of you. So this is going to be another 3 strain on both of you. However, Aiden, you feel a bit more comfortable with the environment, even if the stress of the immediate situation is still harrowing. So you, on the next survival,
I'm getting used to what to expect.
yeah, on the next survival check, you'll have a boost.
Okay. We know when this is a new encounter, by the way, and I'll remove that strain.
I'd say this is the tail end of this encounter.
Okay, so the next check would be a new encounter potentially.
Yes.
Okay, so this strain's gone.
All right.
I love that ability.
So you guys, after probably another hour, slowly skirt the edge of the muddy lake and find yourself in a new area. So after this point, you notice that it's no longer wooded, and in fact, it does look like there's some small, kind of like those pillar rocks you see off the coast in Asia.
Mhm.
You see a couple of those.
Like just straight vertical rocks.
Yeah, pretty
right?
much. Very small plateaus, as you also call them. And then there's also still some trees, but they become a lot more deformed. Like the one you're next to right now that looks like it just grew and then immediately face planted into a nearby area and started to become another landmass.
I've never heard a falling tree described as face planting before, but that's
I
amazing.
like it, though.
But that's the thing. It didn't fall. It's like it has continuously grown and then just back into the water.
Oh, like it decided against it and just put it back
Yeah,
down.
it's either because it was so top heavy that the trunk couldn't support the weight, or you don't know.
Or maybe the ground just gave way underneath it and angled it.
Yeah, maybe. Do you want to roll a education check to see if you can probably try and understand what happened to this tree?
I don't know how much Aiden cares.
Fair enough.
Weird tree, whatever. But it doesn't seem necessarily significant. So we're still heading in the general direction of the big empty pit of no life forms.
Yeah, you haven't lost your heading, but you do notice that as you seem to get closer to this place, the area seems to get more and more deformed. And in fact, as you're passing under this tree, you start to hear chip, 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 small, like, sharp...
Droid noises?
No,
Or...
sharp, like, chirping noises coming from, like, the bowed area of the tree up here.
Do we see anything? Or we have to get on top of it?
Go ahead and roll me a perception check. The angle's
Zero?
kind of off, but you might be able to see something.
I was going to say, can I roll this in? I was going to try to see if I could use my scanners to look for, like, radiation or anything like that, since it seems to be getting barren and twisted?
Okay, it's not barren, it's just twisted. But yes, you can roll for that.
Well, it seems like the trees were less dense. Yeah,
that might be a good word for it then.
Um,
Okay, perception.
Perception.
Aiden will unskilled assist.
Beautiful.
All right, difficulty is set.
Ugh,
Roller does not like you today.
no.
Oh, it was a very hard roll to begin with.
I mean, it wasn't a bad result of his roll. It's just the failures just killed him.
So you're not detecting any ambient radiation that would be responsible for this sort of result. However, you do get a few acute life signs on the top of the tree. In fact, you get about, there's probably about 20 of them clustered together. They're forming a very big hot pocket on top of the trunk.
Can we get kind of a readout of, with that advantage, we get like a readout of what they are?
They're definitely small, like probably, in the abstract scale, silhouette 1, but probably about just the size of 3 feet. And given
So
the fact that they're up there, you can guess that they can fly.
Like a particularly tall Ewok.
Sure. That can fly.
Yeah, that can fly. Yeah. I just meant size-wise, but yeah. Does it look like something that I could, head up there and... Like, I don't know how relevant they are to what we're doing, you know what I mean? Aiden will turn to Zivo and say, what do you think?
Everything wants to kill us. Zivo's still in a pretty bad mood from the events of the start of this whole... If asked about them, he's just going to say, like, it's another thing that's just trying to make us dinner or something like that.
That sounds like par for the course for this planet. It hasn't attacked yet, though. Shall we keep moving, or do you want to take a closer look?
I don't really want to take a closer look.
All right, let's keep moving.
All right. You can figure, if you don't want to mess with them at all, there is going to have to be a stealth check involved to get past them.
Well,
Yeah, I can do that.
I could try it. I'm not going to succeed, so maybe,
Oh, it's the stealth, you're saying?
yeah.
Aiden's got, he doesn't have any skill in it, unfortunately, because it is just still not a career skill for some reason. But, he has 6 agility, so he's not terrible.
Okay. Let me just go ahead and set the difficulty again. Ooh. All right.
Would the boost from knowing the environment, from being more comfortable in the environment, apply to this, or no? Is it more survivally?
I could say that knowing a bit more about the environment in the context I gave you would help here. So yeah, you can add that boost.
Okay.
In fact, I'll say the mucky terrain would actually increase the noise, not make it quieter. So.
However, I ignore difficult terrain if that matters.
Outdoorsman. I would say that would negate the setback I'm putting on this for you.
Okay, so it takes the setback off anyway. Like.
Yeah. So
yeah.
You're good.
Okay. All right. Hey, I covered you. It works. Oh, no, you didn't actually roll yet.
I haven't rolled yet. I'm just making sure.
Actually, okay. So what do you have that lets you modify stealth rolls? Just so I know how much you changed the check, because that's not the.
I removed 1 setback.
Oh, you know what? That's stupid. No. I did the up. I counted these things. I'm dumb. You're good.
What?
You're good. You're good.
Okay.
All right, here I go.
That was like 3 half sentences that didn't quite make.
Okay, let me go ahead and spoil something for you here. This is a minion group, and they have vigilance as one of their skills, and there's a lot of them. So I'm trying to get the upgrades right, and that's how that should have come out. So you're good.
Ooh, that despair. But we're not seen.
Yeah. Okay, you know what? As you're going through this little mucky area under the tree, you're being pretty quiet. Like, you're able to move around some of the mud, so Zivo has an easier time through it. Or maybe no, that you're the one that had the severe successes, so you have to help him.
Yeah.
But as you get to the other bank, you suddenly hear a repulse lift, and you look up to see another racer ship fly overhead. You definitely can identify it as one of the freighters, probably belonging to the smuggling guild, and it flies off in the
Who did they
same.
represent again?
Huh?
Who did they represent?
They represented. If you look at your handout,
Yeah.
they should be representing Garenzla.
Oh, okay.
All right.
So if they win, that's fine because so far it's been what, Disilogic and Basadi, right?
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
However, as they fly over, they disturb the nest. And all of the flying creatures suddenly fly up, and you can see now that you actually can see them, they look a lot like bog wings, but smaller, and you can see the glint of teeth and claws very clearly as they all start to scatter.
All right. They're scattering though; they're not going for us.
It looks like they're doing you could see it's a bit of a search pattern. They're trying to find out what the hell disturbed their nest, since they don't have the concept of spaceships.
Yeah. We'll give it a bit of time for it to die down, or them to leave entirely, whichever. I think.
Yeah.
Stay hidden underneath the tree or whatever.
All right. This is going to be another stealth roll.
Gosh.
However, because you're staying in one spot, there's no setback. And in fact, I'll give you a boost since now you do have the benefit of the terrain. So actually add 2 boosts to both your rolls.
Okay. Let me know when you're good.
Yep, you're good. All right, yeah, Aiden's able to cover Zevo, but you rolled to despair.
Again.
What happens this time?
Actually, I'm going to have another racer show up. You look up, and you don't hear the repulsive, but you see almost the figures you've dread. 2 small black little specks are flying around the area. And you can immediately tell by their silhouette that they look like they're those probe droids. So they're now in the area and on alert. But they haven't found you.
But we know they're
background on probe droids.
Well, not probe droids, since the
They're the Shell Huts probe droids, the one that Aiden pissed off.
probe droid is probably the wrong word.
It's
Starship droid might be better.
Well, it's a droid that is somewhat made for probing, even though it's heavily armed. It's kind of hard that the Imperials coined the term. I'll say it's Shell Hut droid. Shell droid.
Yeah.
Either way, not something you really want to mess with.
No.
As Aiden
But
discovered,
another-
they have a personal scale heavy blaster, and then they have a planetary scale blaster cannon.
Which hurts a lot.
But we're also happy to have them beat us as well, right?
Yes, neither the
Yeah,
Shell Huts or
they're
Gorenza
okay.
have obtained
Okay.
a planet. However, you do remember that in order to actually succeed in your own mission, you need to make sure you're near, if not at, the head of the pack, so you can actively determine the winner of each leg of the race.
Yeah, I'm not saying turn back now, but we're not in, like, deep trouble.
All right. Okay, next up is actually another encounter, because you bypassed the main combat. However, this one is going to have its own upgrades, because now there are racers in the area. And this is the tail end of this encounter, so
I mean, that doesn't matter for me at this point.
I'm just making sure.
I'm strainless right now.
Okay, so this is going to be another survival check, but it's going to have a couple more upgrades than usual.
Okay. So it has just the 1 boost right now for getting through the terrain, right?
Yes.
Okay. Let me know when it's good.
Okay. Because of the gnarled landscape, there's going to be another setback added to it, so make sure you have all your negations on.
Yep. Because we've been passing so many of these survival checks so far.
I mean, this is gnarled landscape. I can't change the fact it's harder to survive here.
I
Alright,
agree.
the difficulty is set.
Hey, I got that one.
I didn't.
Would that count as covering for him, or would that not really be?
No, this is because you're still suffering from the effects, and because never mind. I won't spill that little detail. Zevo takes another 3 strain, but Aiden, I'll say you don't take any strain, but you start getting a feeling of unease, like deep in your gut. You're feeling like something is wrong. Like it's not that dread that you feel like one of the shell droids are going to find you and start blasting you away again, but you just start feeling that intense sensation of dread. And in fact, that dread seems to magnify as you pass through another small wooded area and come upon... That's the wrong thing. The problem is for the GM layer and for the reveal stuff, it's a giant eye, so sometimes I get lost as to which represents which. You see a giant obelisk. Definitely not as
vaguely Sith.
Actually, as you look closer on it, it seems to be a mix.
Like Sith Hut?
Yes.
Or Sith something else?
No,
Okay.
the architecture definitely seems to have kind of Sith echoes to it, but when you look at the language written on it, it's that older Huttese dialect. That while Vanris isn't here, Zevo probably knows.
Yeah, Zevo's original shell armor came from a Sith hut.
There weren't that many of them, so... as far as we know.
Does this look familiar from like the iconography of both like the Agonizer and the antique armor?
This sounds like a lore check. You'll get a boost because you are familiar with a Sith Hut.
Aiden will unskilled assist just in general, if that makes sense.
Since you actually have something to compare it with.
Okay, so 2 boosts, 2 boosts.
In fact, actually, because not only do you have the Agonizer, you have the armor, I'd say you get 3 boosts. 2 for just what you happen to know, and then the unskilled assist.
Okay.
I am going to flip. And you're good to go.
Aha! Exactly enough.
These appear to be mutually distinct. While you can tell that both your armor, the Agonizer, and this obelisk have... You can feel it in your gut. They have a connection to the dark side of the Force. And they have that sort of, kind of, typical, megalomaniacal... Oh, geez, I butchered that word.
Yeah, you did.
Same genre.
Yeah, you can tell that these definitely are geared towards the same lines of thought, but developed independently of one another. And as you look into that hexagon, no, that's a frickin'... No, that's a hexagon. I was thinking I accidentally said pentagon. You see that in each slice of it, there's a name of a Kejik you know. Disilogic. Basadi.
Oh.
Boresh. You can tell that each of those segments are a clan of the ancients. And in the center it says, traitors one and all, our vengeance will come in due time.
Aiden will bring up, I assume he talked to Vanders about this after the fact, but the droid, actually, no, because this was something he encountered actually. The droids on the last planet we were at, they called the Basadi traitors.
Oh, and you also see at the bottom of the monolith, Vortka will rise again.
Given that Zevo might be on the outs, as it were, with everyone else, he will take a little bit of interest in this pillar. Other kind of like huts that aren't part of the main structure are of deeper interest at this point.
So I think Aiden's going to save an image of this to his datapad, so we can recall later if we need to.
All right.
This is potentially evidence that we can use in the future for something. Who knows?
All right. And as you pass, after you take your images and save it to memory, and pass the obelisk by, you continue down the path, and soon on the probably not that far away, you guys see. Hold on, let me actually collect your tokens so I don't have to come back here for them.
Well, the nice thing is you can just pull them off the character page, actually, if you save them to the token.
But I almost feel like that would take almost as much time as coming back to this panel and putting them
Fair enough.
back. So might as well just do it right here. Alright, now I can move you guys.
I've always been mildly annoyed that there's no cut and paste. It's only copy. Hey, I've used that before because there are approximately 3 pictures on Google about palaces.
Yeah. I will very much appreciate it if anyone can make an effort otherwise, but yes, you see, though of course they're not in this pristine condition. It looks like while there's no active damage, it does look like time has taken a hammer to these things. Definitely no lights are on. There's a heavy parts of it that weren't quite well supported or maintained have collapsed, and you notice there are actually a couple of ships that appear parked in the not deep but some water that kind of completely surrounds the palace.
Ships of the racers, or
You actually see a couple of light. No, sorry. You asked the right question. I jumped to conclusions. Yes, racer ships. They definitely
Okay.
don't match the design that approached you in orbit.
do we recognize which ones these are from?
It looks like a couple of them are smuggler ships. Like one of them you can immediately remember was the one that flew over your heads a bit ago.
Okay.
And then you also see a couple of ships that belong to the Survey Corps. And then you see one larger ship, definitely like Silhouette 5, but the rest of these are Silhouette 4 transport ships. And in fact, you can see a couple of specks that are patrolling around that one larger ship. That's kind of like parked over here.
So Dasilogic is here, which is not good, and potentially Basadi.
No, it's not the pitchfork.
Oh, okay.
So it sounds like we need to get in there and cause a little bit of trouble or something.
Yeah.
All right. Do you just want to go in from the front door? You don't see anyone just like standing guard.
So we don't see anyone outside. Can I use the macro binoculars to get like a thermal look at the place?
All right, yeah.
Or me or Zevo? Yeah.
I'm going to add a couple of setback because of the building's current condition. And then... All right, go for perception.
Unskilled Zevo? Eden will hand over his binoculars.
I think, yeah, Zevo's armor, I think, also has built-in...
Oh, okay.
But if it makes you feel good, I'm happy to borrow yours.
Sure. It'll give you some zoom, though. Would that add a boost?
All right.
That's not bad.
All right. Oh, jeez, they all rolled blank. Go figure.
I was owed at least one by this point.
True. All right. Yeah, you see this smaller building has a couple of heat signatures going around it. In fact, there's one massive one that seems to just be slowly crawling its way from the top down. You tell it to Aiden, and if you describe it to Aiden, you can immediately recognize that sort of description as one of the shell droids. However, you look inside the larger building, and it's almost like glowing. Like the entire building seems to be glowing as if it was on fire.
So it's just full of people and or actually on fire.
You don't see any smoke or fire from the outside, but you can tell that there seems to be a lot of activity or people in there.
All right, so it's probably a safe bet that at least everyone thinks things are in the larger building, but we don't know for sure one way or another.
Yeah, and since you know this by now, you look at your cameras, and there don't seem to be any indicators that a winner has been picked for this leg.
Mm-hmm.
So,
What do you think? The large one or the smaller one?
I say smaller one only because the large one's too obvious.
Yeah, and we didn't see any other things like potentially under the water or anything, right?
No, the water is pretty like these people thought it was okay to park their ships in it. You can see by their landing struts, it's probably just like 2 feet deep.
No, I mean like there's no like, oh, there's a building underground over here kind of thing.
Uh,
I don't know if that would have come up.
you definitely didn't see that in your electric binoculars.
Okay.
Though, granted, you would only see that if it had any heat signatures.
Mm-hmm. That's true. And if no one's in it, then it wouldn't have. Yeah. All right. Shall we book it for the smaller one then? Just we'll have to keep watch for that droid and not engage if we can help it.
Yeah, that works.
All right. How do you want to approach? I assume stealthily, but are you going to just go up? Because there is a big open door, and again, no guards, I said in quotes, or do you want to try and find another way in?
Just do a quick look. Like we're not taking like a fine tooth comb to the place, but just do a quick look around it to see if there looks to be an alternate way in.
All right. Go ahead and roll me a stealth check, and I think I can go from there.
Both of us or just me?
I'd say both of you.
Okay.
Environmental things still apply?
Yes.
Okay.
So that was 1 or 2 by the end, 2?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Boosts?
How many boosts did that wind up being by the end?
I think you only got the one because of the
Okay.
last survival check.
Oh, the other one was because we weren't moving. We stayed in our. Like,
Oh yeah, no, that was definitely because you were in a specific place where the brush was thick and you weren't moving. That wasn't from anything else.
Difficulty locked in.
Yep.
Okay, and stealth go.
Nice.
Right. You're both covered, and in fact, as you near it, you actually see that this shallow lake is actually kind of like a reservoir, and there appears to be a pipe that runs between the smaller palace and the far bank that you're on. But the water was overflowing it, so you weren't seeing it. But as you get closer to the base of the palace, there are a couple of sewage pipes that lead out into the downriver stream. So
Wonderful.
if you want,
Shall we?
I could
This seems like our best way in quietly.
seal my 10+ minutes.
Devo?
So I'm happy to go in whatever nasty way we deem
Zivo?
necessary.
all right, that seems like a strong vote for Zivo.
Did he say something? Because I didn't hear anything.
Oh yeah, I've been hearing him talk this whole time.
Let me reconnect to the chat.
I hear you now.
Still nothing? Because he just said something.
Wait, who?
No, I'm talking to Dan.
I hear you now.
Sounds like Dan can't hear me now since he's not responding.
He can hear you, Jack.
Okay, well now I can't hear him. Hold on. Alright, now both of you say something. Okay, now I can't hear either of you. Lovely. And thus, the adventure on this planet came to a thrilling end when the GM could no longer hear what the players wanted to do. Alright, hold on. I'm going to try dropping out of Roll20 completely to see what happens. Pausing the recording. Alright. And we're back, everyone. So, it seems like you have both decided to use the sewer pipes to get into the smaller building of the palace complex.
Yes.
Alright.
Correct.
you go in, and fortunately, since it hasn't been used in hundreds of years, doesn't even really smell that bad compared to the rest of the swamp. Not really any safe respite, but you know, don't have to worry about sludging through. Still,
Literal crap.
yeah, still rolling filth. However, actually, as you get further into the pipe, you start noticing that the bottom is filled with kind of a stone. And you can probably figure that this is the sewage that's petrified over time.
Whoa.
That's kind of interesting,
Cool,
I
huh?
guess.
So yeah, actually, you stop having to like straddle the pipe and just walk alongside it, unless you don't want like petrified crap on your boots or bottom of your armor.
I don't have boots.
If it's petrified, I don't know if it matters.
Oh yeah, I mean it's
And as a HUD, I'm sure Zivo doesn't care in general.
all right. And so eventually you get to a central nexus where, unfortunately, all the incoming pipes are a lot smaller than the one you came out in. Like this was an excess flow, and the rest of these are actually plumbing. So you're going to need to find a way to get from here, probably through a maintenance corridor or two into the lower palace.
Do we see any kind of access?
You do. There are a couple of ladder hatches, but opening those is going to be pretty easy. But you're probably going to have an issue getting Zero up them.
Does Zivo have any kind of gear to help him ascend things, or no?
2 stubby arms.
Okay. So no.
Long stubby arms, but stubby nonetheless.
Gotcha. Are there anything other aside from the ladders, or no?
Unfortunately, it looks like they relied on probably more capable people to use this area, so it looks like it's the ladders or bust. The opening is probably big enough for Zevo, but yeah, it's going to be the climbing that's the biggest issue.
You have rope?
Would rope be something I could flip a destiny point to have?
Yeah. I mean, you knew you were going to be on this sort of excursion. You're probably going to need something as simple as rope.
So yes, we have rope.
All right. So I assume Aiden is just going to climb up to the hatch and probably get some sort of pulley system going.
Yeah, just let it down.
All right.
Yep.
The access hatch is sort of rusty. You like press the lever to get it to open, and it only opens slightly, so you have to kind of wedge it aside. But it's not that hard. It was not really made to be secured. So you get up there, and I'm going to need probably either a mechanics or survival check to fashion some sort of system to help get Zevo up.
Survival it is.
All right.
Since there's a ladder, there's probably actually a good number of places to kind of wrap it around for bracing it and
Yeah.
using as the top of the pulley.
I'd say that would give you a boost.
Okay.
However, because the ladder has been sort of disused, who knows what might have rusted into the point of structural weakness, so I'm going to also add a setback.
Fair enough. Let me just. All right, survival go. That's not bad.
All right, yeah, you are able to make a pretty good pulley system that will help get Zevo up. Still in the athletics, it's going to be easy. Like, literally, it's going to be 1 purple with actually 2 boosts, but I'm going to need an athletics check from Zevo to see if he can pull himself up with the help of Aiden.
All right. Oh,
Yep.
where did my...
Would that give a boost to, or there's the boost just from this in general? I was going to say, like, could there be an unskilled assistance in there too, or is that just what you kind of already described?
There could be 1 more boost from Aiden, like acting as a counterweight.
So
Yeah.
3 boosts to athletics?
Yes.
All right. And you've got your 1 difficulty in there.
Yes.
I've clicked out of the window. I have the box.
You already have 2 boosts on athletics, apparently.
Yes.
All right, yeah.
I
I mean, it's
it's
so
okay.
easy. You were almost wondering why you even had to do this in the first place. Evo kind of just clambers up the ladder.
Forget Zebra springs like a cobra sometimes.
I forgot about that. Yeah. And the armor you have gets rid of ponderous too, right?
No, I'm not using the hut
Oh, it's
shell
the other
armor.
one.
Actually, the hut shell armor I did not remove it because it was the antique hut shell armor.
Mhm.
But he's not very fast, but over short distances,
Gotcha.
he's a sprinter.
Yes, he's a natural sprinter.
All right, so you guys now end up in a lower portion of the palace, and immediately you can see that there are the same sort of carvings on the walls. There's nothing that looks like the murals you've seen before, but it's all sort of writing and pseudo-pictorial stuff. And you see the same sort of images here and there that have the listing of the clans of the ancients, and says all of them traitors, vengeance in due time, all that sort of stuff.
This place looks heavily related to that Borka.
Yeah, if you want to better understand the message it's trying to convey, it's going to be another lore check. Otherwise, you're just going to be seeing what you understood earlier from the obelisk.
Unskilled assist to Zevo.
Given your previous experience, you can have another boost on top of that, but it's not going to be this like the same amount of boost you had just for the comparison of the works.
Right. I'm just trying to see if I had any leftover lore.
Also,
I did not.
flip again to keep the destiny flowing.
All right, so you're upgrading.
Yes.
I have an unskilled assist boost and 1 other boost, or just the one unskilled assist?
It should be 2 boosts, 1 from the unskilled and 1 from your previous experience.
Okay. And, not survival, though. Lord. Oh, yeah, there it is. Okay, here we... Oh, dear.
Well, I mean, the good thing is despair can only be so bad with a knowledge check.
Say that now.
So as you get close to the markers and you start, you just, as a member of Basadi, you feel like it's almost your duty to understand why whoever wrote this message seems to have it out for your family or your greater community. And as your hand kind of runs over one of the marks, you cut your finger, and as a small trace of blood goes over one of the runes, it glows red. And then you actually see the stone itself over the marker shift. And not the rune shift, and it just says Basadi. And then you see the other words that say Basadi all over the wall start to glow. Basadi, 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 Basadi. And then you hear this long groan that echoes down the hall. Traitor.
Well, I was saying, I suppose.
Zevo looks to Aiden and says, cool. Scary, but cool.
I'm not sure if cool is the right word. Ominous, maybe.
As you continue forward, you feel that the entire building is still vibrating. Something is shaking. It's not like earthquake, but you can
Is
definitely
there a direction to it?
all around you.
Okay.
Well, maybe this will help keep Basadi from winning.
Actually,
If the whole building
not
is...
a bad point. Although, to be fair,
building-
you're the only blood Vasadi here.
What was that?
I said you're the only blood Basadi here.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you can smell it on them or something.
You smell like Basadi filth.
Not impossible.
So yeah, I guess we go further in to what we can intuit as some sort of either central chamber or secret chamber, if we think where we would think one would be potentially.
All right.
Likely spots.
You continue down the corridor until you come to a part of the building that's partially collapsed, again, just due to the lack of maintenance. And you see that outside, the sky has turned from this weird sort of yellowish brown to red.
Oh.
And the storm that you had to pass under to get here seems to be swirling back around over the palace, just slow, like it hasn't covered the sky above you yet, but you can see the clouds slowly starting to swirl back in your direction.
Could that be related? I mean, I'm not a stranger to Sith-related antics. I'm also not exactly fully well-versed on them either. So, I'm not entirely sure if that's possible.
The building identified me based on blood.
Yeah.
That somehow this is related.
Yeah, I say we get in and out as fast as we can here.
Yeah, most definitely.
All right. As you continue up, you're probably about this, like you were probably right out here in the upper picture when you saw the storm. So now you're probably right about here, and you actually see that this area is almost entirely an open atrium with several levels just having balconies that let out into it. And as you look up, luckily it hasn't seen you yet because it's too busy scanning the area, but that giant shell droid is just slowly descending down the atrium as it seems to be scanning the walls at each level on the way down.
All right, we should not mess with that thing. Just take it from me. It's not a good idea.
Zebo will smile for the first time in a while and say, I think I can take your word for this one.
However, as it continues to descend, you still get no response from your camera.
So it hasn't found anything yet.
Apparently.
And there's nothing around that looks like it could be. So it's just scanning, I guess, horizontally around it as it lowers itself.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of descending in a spiral fashion where its eyes are continuously looking at a new portion of the wall as it continues down.
All right. So it's not necessarily looking downward.
Yeah. No.
Okay. So, do we have any kind of where are we at again on the building? Sorry.
You're like this entire upper cylinder of the palace. That is the entire atrium, and you're probably at the bottom, right out here.
Okay. Does it look like there's any kind of like way down further? Because where we came in like kind of below, right?
Yeah, I mean, you went up this entire lower part of the cylinder without encountering anything. But that was all like corridors and whatnot. This is the only open space that goes up for several levels.
So we haven't been to the chamber below this. We've just like where we came from took us directly to here.
No. You started kind of under the palace and then have been making your way up. So you've been through all the levels from the bottom up, but from here up, you haven't seen anything.
So if it hasn't found anything, it's either not in this building or it's somewhere below still. What do you think, Zivo?
Well, we came up from below and didn't see much.
We may have missed something, though.
Yeah.
If we look down at the floor, because remember the last place had kind of a mosaic on the floor kind of thing. From this vantage point, can we see down below if that looks like anything?
Well, if there was a mosaic on the floor, you'd be standing on it from where you are right now. And it looks like there is some sort of pattern on the floor, but it doesn't look anything like what you saw back on Narvatal.
Could it be indicating anything at all, or is it just kind of a pattern?
It looks like it's artwork. It doesn't seem like it's representing anything.
Okay. Are there like side corridors or side rooms that we could enter that might have things?
I mean, there are other ways that lead back out and probably up to the other levels of the atrium. But like it looks like there aren't any like side rooms. Everything seems to be tied into this atrium. It either leads into just a small little parlor or actually leads into the next level of the atrium. And unfortunately, you don't really have that time to inspect them all before the droid probably would notice you.
Okay, so Zivo, you're familiar with HUD architecture, more so than I am at least. Does anything look out of place here? Or at the very least, a way where they would hide something like this star map?
Right.
Or even a vault or anything like that?
Does anything look out of place?
Go ahead and roll me. I'm torn between education or lore.
I mean, if it's history, I would think it's pretty much lore. It's the general rule of thumb for lore,
Okay,
right?
then actually, yeah, go ahead and roll me a lore check. You get two boosts because of HUT background. Your difficulty's ready whenever.
Yeah. If that doesn't include the Aiden's unskilled assist, I will include that as well. Yeah. Because he's also trying to have a good think about this too.
Then 3 boosts total.
Excellent. All my knowledge skills are the same.
Wow.
Intense focus. Oh dear. That is an
Wow, they
astounding
all rolled blank. Man, that is quite astounding.
It's like that first row just aired out, and it just decided every die that was on that first row was blank.
Yeah, that's
Friggin'
weird.
bad.
It looks. I would say things don't look right, but you can't put your finger on it. And heck, it might just be because this is a subtle divergence from standard the standard HUT culture. So you can't quite put your finger on what's wrong or why.
All right.
Okay.
I don't really know. These rebel sorts make it hard to tell what's going on.
Yeah. All right. Well, before this droid just descends on us, should we at least maybe? I don't know. I think we just have to head somewhere else, right? I don't know. I'm not sure what else we could do in this situation.
The droid's probably at level 3 right now. You're on level 1, still descending.
So, I mean, I will say that regardless of what we end up doing, before the droid becomes at a point where it would see us, we're going to either get behind something so it can't scan us, or just get way away. So, that is a contingency.
Yeah, definitely don't.
Yeah, regardless of what we decide to try in the meantime, we will not let that get to that point. So,
Okay, well, the thing is, time is limited, so you probably only
Right.
have enough time to vamoose or do one more short check. That's what I'm trying to get across.
yeah. I think we're going to have to just... what if we wait it out in a hiding place and let it pass over us so we can inspect above it? Maybe it missed something.
Are you pitching that to me or Zivo?
Zemo.
Um,
It's either that or head to the other building, but that just looks like an exercise in futility at this point, considering how much is going on there.
I feel like I don't want to give up on this one until we
Yeah.
know that it's right to give up on, but obviously I also don't want to get wrecked by the droid. So,
And let's be honest, it's going to go for me first.
well, you're its best friend, so
Yeah. All right. So hide somewhere out of the ability for it to scan us.
yeah, I think so.
All right. That's going to be a stealth check. You can dodge it. You can easily skirt your way into one of the staircases that go behind the wall to lead up to the next level. But this is going to have to be a stealth check against its scanners.
Would that add some either upgrades and or boosts because we're going out of our way to be as far out of its way as possible?
Well, to be as far out of its way as possible would be
Without
leaving.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but I'm just saying, because we're putting walls and staircases between us and it.
that's going to add. That's probably going to put 1 boost in your favor. But this thing
That's
was
it.
designed to scan
Yeah.
areas.
All right. So I'm flipping on this, I think. Oh, dear. But it won't find us, so at least
No, you definitely
that
cover
could-
Zevo.
yeah.
As you take cover in the staircase and you almost feel your hair stand up on end again, like when that shell hut was scanning you as the shell droid passes down. You look out as you're near a window, and you see now that the clouds have fully gathered around the palace, and that red glow has become like a rusted color, and you just hear that echo again. Basadi. And then just suddenly a red lightning bolt comes down and just smacks the building you're in. It doesn't hit
Oh.
you, but that entire portion of the wall you're standing near, the exterior wall, blasts away.
Oh. We should be quick. Whatever we're doing here, we should get out soon. So has the droid passed beyond us?
I'd say you suddenly hear a as it lands on the floor of the atrium.
Like it was hit, or
No, it just
Like-
lands. It's
Okay.
a partial. It's cut out, and its legs finally hit the floor. Fade into the distance.
okay. So it's down the corridor or something from where we are.
It
So
at least sounds that way.
okay. Shall we head up then? So we're not immediately in this line of sight when we get up there. And I'm thinking actually, maybe we should call the Sunflare over so that we
I
can
was
make a
thinking-
quick escape.
Yeah, definitely at some point, not walk all the way back.
Yeah.
I don't know yet is the moment, but I also don't know
Right.
that
But we
Have
can
a
tell them to
better-
at least get close and keep their distance, like far enough away that that they're not going to be pulled into anything, but close enough that they can make a quick approach. Because we had to hike a while to get here.
Yeah. So you call R7. He's like, "You want me to do what?"
Well, I mean, it could also potentially be Vanris, but yeah.
or Pippa.
Yeah, or Pippa. Yeah, Pippa is just a remote droid brain that can fly the ship for a bit, but
I have a feeling, regardless of who you call, the answer is going to be, "You want me to do what?" Especially if you give them the full situation of, we are in the middle of like a blood red storm that is shooting lightning at us.
And shouting out Zevo's name. Or like whispering Zevo's name.
yeah. Don't fly into the storm, just get close.
I mean, I'll try.
I mean, if it seems too dangerous, back off, but do what you can.
By a crocodile or whatever.
All right. Yeah, you've given out that order. So you're just going to start poking your head into each level of the atrium as you go up, try and see something.
And the whole way trying to look for, because Ziva knows something's off, but not sure what.
All right.
And just ascending. Maybe there was something at the very top that the droid missed. Was the top like blown off, or was it like?
Not from where you see. Like, you see that the atrium ends at this kind of empty. No, not.
Yeah, that was close enough. That worked.
Like
Right,
this.
pinch it back
Yeah,
in.
this area right here, where there's kind of a separation between that area and probably this few top floors. So you can't
Yeah.
see past that. So maybe it did blow a hole in the roof. You don't know.
Well, let's get up to the top because maybe it looks like it could be like a lookout kind of area, and that might help.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead. How fast would you say you're doing this as you go up the atrium and look at stuff?
As far as like how deeply we're inspecting things.
Yeah. Well, I mean, how it would determine how well you're able to analyze things as you go up.
I'd say a relatively brisk pace, but not like definitely not running or anything like that. Because we want to be able to examine things, but we're also in a bit of a hurry. So
Okay, I'm gonna add a setback for that.
so unskilled assist to Zivo's perception, which is what I assume this is going to be.
Actually, you can either do that or you can both do your own perception checks.
Individual might sound better, I think.
Yeah, let's go for that.
Okay. Perception. Let me know when you're ready, Jack.
Ready.
Perception, go. Nope.
Super note.
You don't see anything that looks like something akin to a star chart. It's still more hieroglyphs, more glowing red Basadi words here and there. But other than that, nothing. And in fact, as you reach the top of the atrium, Basadi, traitor, and you just feel the entire building shake, like it's just been shot by a turbo laser. Some of the wall next to you just falls away, and you see that lightning bolts are now starting to flesh out more frequently. Some of them are even hitting the other building.
So it's mostly focused around this building?
You can guess, yes.
Okay. Shall we continue upward?
May as well. We've come this far and made this much trouble for ourselves.
And then we don't have many other options, because down is the droid of death.
Sure.
All right,
All right.
you enter the top portion, the lookout, and you do see that actually a portion of the route has been blown inward. Probably how the droid got inside to begin with.
Yeah. So I'd say we'll stay below the cover, so if the lightning does, or whatever it is, does come in, it's less likely to hit us directly.
Now that you have a good vantage point of the area, you can see that actually the other or larger building, it looks like it has suffered a lot more damage than when you first approached. You now see that there is fire and smoke starting to billow out from it. And in fact, even over the sound of the storm, you can hear blaster fire.
Yeah, we'll just leave that thing to burn, I think, for now. I don't know how much our involvement will help that situation.
All right.
Yeah.
As you look around you, you see that this lookout area... both of you go ahead and roll me education.
Oh, what is Evo typing?
I was going to say, I think sound might be cutting in and out a little bit, but for me, but I'll keep an eye on it.
All right.
I know your connection's been spotty from time to time before, right?
Yeah, that's possible. My internet does that once in a while.
Yeah, because I'm hearing you fine.
I'm actually not seeing any of those talkie bars move.
That's because we're on Hangouts
Oh,
now.
yep, you're right. Silly me.
Yes. Okay.
I got so quickly used to it.
Yeah, they're handy.
Education?
Yeah.
Yes, for both of you. You can both.
Any
roll your own.
modifiers on our side beneficial?
In favor? No.
Okay. That's what I figured. But... Actually, if this is the hieroglyph stuff, would I get a boost?
It's not hieroglyph based. It's
Okay.
more just analyzing the room, reading the room.
Consider it analyzed-ish.
All right. Zevo
He
is
gets
able.
the gist of it.
Zevo is able to tell that the lookout is filled with several kind of rusted over bars here and there. They're like jutting out from the ground or hanging from the ceiling. All of them appear to be broken to one extent or the other. You remember this is something like a slave pen, but there are also benches here and there, but you can't quite divine the similarities. Like, why would they put their slaves at the top of a palace? That doesn't make any sense. And you can't quite connect why. You can just realize that this place seems to be some sort of slave pen.
This is certainly not tall enough to house any of those giants from the other world, right?
Yes, definitely not. Like, the best they could house in here vertically is Silhouette 2.
Okay.
And what were those giants? 3?
Those giants are 4.
Oh, wow. That's giant.
But yeah, those statues were not too far off from their real size.
Okay. Can we see anything out from here of interest? Like, is the star map on the outside of the other building or something, like that?
The building's exterior the other building's exterior has suffered pretty
That's right.
bad damage, where anything legible on it has probably been eroded away.
Right, I forgot about that.
Actually, as you're looking out, you get, yeah, you get a camera blare. Someone's found it. Receiving the transmission. Credit to the Shell Huts for claiming this sector of the Dead Road.
Could be worse. So it's below then.
Well, there are two buildings, and you saw two shell droids earlier.
Oh, we saw two. I didn't remember the second one.
Yep.
I don't remember the one. Okay.
So
can we
either,
break out-
I mean, it's either or. Either the shell droid that was in the building found something that was able to compile, or the shell droid in the other building found something too.
Can we break out the electrobinoculars and track and see if we can find their heat signatures again?
Yeah. Well, are you going to look down for the first shell droid, or are you going to look at the bigger building?
I'd say considering the bigger one is on fire, it'd be harder to find anything there. So let's check down first.
All right. Yeah, go ahead and roll me the perception then.
Unskilled to Zevo.
Yep. P for perception.
Hey, we succeeded a thing.
You actually look down just to see the shell droid kind of near the bottom, and then there's just suddenly a flare of heat and you just see the shell droid take off from the wall. It just suddenly leaps from the building, changes into a flight mode, and takes off.
Did it look like it was anywhere significant, or was it just kind of on a wall somewhere or whatever?
It looked like it was just near the base, a few levels up, but you remember you've actually been by that area.
Do we remember anything significant about it?
No.
Okay.
Aside from the glowing Basadi text, no.
Should we head back down there or check the other building?
Maybe other building at this point. If the fighting was over, like if there was nothing over there, you think that people wouldn't get, all dug in trying to presumably claim or attack some piece of ground.
Actually, from this vantage point, you're starting to see a few people trying to evacuate from the larger building. Some of them are running to their ships. Other people seem to be covering them, while other people are running to their ships and shooting at the other people running to their ships. So it looks like there's a bit of an exodus from that larger building right now. And you actually see it from about mid-level up, right about here. Of course, wrong clicker. Here, another shell droid busts out of the wall, leaps out, takes flight, zooms away.
Can we look in there with the electrobinoculars, just at least for the zooming, and see if we see anything in there?
Okay, this is going to be a pretty hard perception check, but I'll let you try.
All right.
And only the person with the electrobinoculars can actually do this.
Yeah.
However, you're not using the thermal, so I'll actually take away the setback that would have been there had you, because, hey, fire, hot.
Fire is hot. That's true. Okay, let me know when you're ready.
All right. For the heck of it, and since there's lightning that's out to kill you, I'll upgrade it, but there you go.
Is there a boost for the zooming?
One boost, yes, but most of this check is only because you have the binoculars, so...
Right, that's why I wasn't going to ask for it, but I'll take it if you're giving it.
I'm feeling generous.
Yay!
Oh my gosh. Okay, so oddly enough, a large portion of that wall collapses as that shell droid leaves, and you actually see that entire there's like an inner wall around whatever that area of the building he was in that has the mural on it. And you actually see it's a trace of almost the entire Dead Road from where you began. You can see Varl. You can in Zevo's mind, he can trace Varl to the planet of the giant sentience, to the destroyed system, to this system, to Bibis. The entire Dead Road seems to be paved out here. And
Bibis? Did we have that name before?
That's yes. That was the name that was of the system in the heart of the Dead Road.
Gotcha.
So from this map, you actually have your final destination.
All right. So I guess Zevo shows it to Aiden, so Aiden can. He's the astrogator there. So
I will snap an image.
all right, I got it. So I'll come over to the. Is the storm still going on? I assume.
Yes.
All right, I'll come over to the Sunflare. Are you able to fly in, or does it look too dangerous?
Let's see. Do you happen to know the piloting of your R7? I'm just trying to figure out who would probably have taken the wheel here.
The R7, I don't even think has agility. I think it has 1 agility.
It's only
Okay,
got 2
so-
ranks in agility.
I guess it sounds like Vanris probably would have taken the wheel.
Uh,
4 green.
yeah, it has 2 agility, 1 rank of pouting, or two pouting space and 1 rank of agility. So yeah, probably Vanris, since she has rifles and uses them.
Yeah,
Hold on,
he
let
only
me
has
double-
3 agility and probably no. I mean, we can do it. I think
Okay,
Pippa's
actually,
fine.
her piloting is only 3 green. So
Yeah,
she's
Pippa's the
probably
best.
mixing with Pippa.
Oh, Pippa has actual piloting.
Pippa has 4 ranks in piloting.
Oh, I thought it was just astrogation that Pippa had.
It's both.
So
Okay.
I guess it would actually be
Both story frames, but it's
Pippa's.
combined into 1 AI effectively.
Well, does she have any agility?
No.
Okay,
She just
so
rolled-
it would be that they would be mixing. Vanris would be
Yeah.
flying with Pippa aiding.
Mhm.
All right, so I'll go ahead and put 4 up. This is basically going to be her piloting check to see if she can get through the storm and pick you guys up.
So it's 3 yellow, 1 green.
Yes.
Are you rolling that, Jack, or should
Yeah,
we?
I'm rolling it since
Okay.
this is technically an NPC for the moment. This is going to be really hard.
In theory, the R7 could co-pilot.
You know what? You're right. So hold on. I'm going to go ahead and reset all this and set a co-piloting difficulty, which in and of itself will be difficult, but
Well, co-pilot's a set difficulty, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
but I can upgrade it and set back all willy-nilly.
That's true.
So it's base average, but I can still modify it. But I'll just add setback. Yeah, go ahead and
so
roll
it's
co-piloting for
yellow-
the R7 and see what happens.
Oh, yeah, I'll do it, yeah. Okay. This sounds like a good time to potentially flip, maybe, because this is just
sounds
a
like a
long
good
shot.
time to play this music.
Oh, I didn't actually throw the upgrade on there. But I got it anyway, so I think I'll stick it with it and
All
just
right, that actually takes down 1
point
upgrade.
back.
There are going to be a few more.
Yeah, if you can just give us the point back.
Oh.
Or if we can use this for the NPC, one or the other. We'll use it for the NPC.
Oh, hold on. I used Vanris's thing. Hold on. I'll take that one back and then apply another upgrade to Vanris's check to do this.
Yeah.
I think that gives her 4 yellow. This might actually be interesting. Holy
Ah!
crap! So, out of the ochre mist, you see the sun flare suddenly emerge, and just lightning is coursing through it here and there. You see smoke coming out of one of the missile impact sites as Vanris, with the help of Pippa, comes over and just slams the thing into the side. Actually, no. 2 double triumphs.
2 times.
It has.
Yeah.
I was trying to count for the threat. She actually blasts open part of that area. You, of course, gave her fair warning about which side you were on, so she blasts open the side you weren't, and just causes part of that to collapse. And then she just kind of shoves the front end of the sun flare in as she lowers the boarding ramp.
All right, let's ride. So I'm in there as an incidental.
We'll come pilot on afterwards.
I'm like, Vanris, good job. Please co-pilot.
All right. So that takes us to the finale. It looks like you are in the middle of a massive departure as several ships... I mean, you first have to get past the storm, but you are also seeing that several of the ships around you that were in the lake are also taking off. So you're
Are
going to
those
be...
2400s?
They're a representative of several
1300s?
different freighters. I
Okay.
only have so many tokens to work with, but okay.
Also, is that a deck plan or is that an actual exterior? It's almost like a deck plan. That's
It's
just-
probably
Yeah.
a deck plan.
Looks like a little
Again,
mini-
I'm short on tokens. So
I'm not criticizing. I'm just curious.
If you zoom out far enough, they look like just regular ships, okay?
Yes.
Alright, so first check to get to the storm is actually going to be the same difficulty as it was to fly through it to get to you guys.
I can plot course to help remove setbacks.
Well, in theory, we're not really in structured time right now, so Aiden could do that too. Right? Or no?
That does take narrative time, though, and that's time your ship is open to the elements.
Fair enough.
So if
Okay.
you do it all separate times, though, I could consider them all sort of lumped together in the same unit.
Go ahead, Zibo.
All right. So that's a hard difficulty. Do you want me to just put the difficulty in?
let me go ahead and this. Oh, jeez, it's so hard to work this out. Oh God, sorry, brain fart. Yes, let's do the plot course first, and it's hard.
It's worth mentioning that I can remove 4 setbacks on piloting, so I don't know how useful that will be.
But there's going to be
Yeah,
setback on the co-piloting, so that could
Um,
remove it for that and help you actually get
That's fine.
downgrades.
Okay.
We'll go with that.
All right. The plot course, of course, for the same reason, will also have its own setback. But it's a standard hard difficulty, right?
Yes.
Okay.
'Cause I'm using perception, not astrogation.
Yeah, the difficulty set then.
All right.
Nope.
All right. However, so you weren't able to negate setback, but I'll let you apply 2 boosts to either the piloting check, or the co-piloting check.
I will apply them to the piloting check.
Okay.
I feel like the co-piloting check needs it more. I'd rather not have it to spare than
1 and 1 then.
All right.
Yeah.
Is it a bit too gamey to let Pippa help Vanra's co-pilot?
I think kind of
Oh.
well,
probably not, right? It's not structured time right now, so
right, and it's not like you're gonna let her also assist Aiden, right? Aiden's gonna do it by
Yeah,
himself. So I think
true.
one person, like everyone, gets one chance to do something.
I'll flip just to upgrade it. I'll have my way somehow. All right. She actually gives you 2 downgrades and a boost.
I'll take it.
All right, so let me nil this out again. So you
So
still
it's-
have the standard amount of setback, which you're going to negate anyway, but they're there. And then you have 2 less, so that takes that down to 2 upgrades.
Okay.
Oh, I actually... There weren't
Huh?
even supposed to be that many threat in the first place because I added too many purples. Should have only been 5 dice, instead there were 6.
For what?
For for Vaness's piloting check to get in there.
Oh,
Yeah, she rolled
So-
way too... Oh, you know what? I know what happened. I had my own GM dice pool set for its own thing, and then I opened up Vaness's sheet to have it roll, so that compounded. So yeah, I'd actually say the Sunflare didn't take...
oh yeah,
this-
because there's like 6 setbacks on that. I don't know if those were
Yeah,
all
I
intentional.
was gonna have the Sunflare take all that threat as strain, but since I goofed up on the roll, I'll just say it was a success and a double triumph,
Okay.
because I can't count. All right, you know what? And I'll flip one more time.
Okay, I will flip back because extra green.
All right, make sure you put your own upgrade in there.
Yep.
All right, difficulty set.
All right. Piloting space, go. Yep.
Right.
All right, the lightning tries to stop you, and again you all hear, "Basadi, traitor, die!" But you just pile. That hurt. You just pile out of the storm and into the upper atmosphere, where the red twinge storm is far behind you. But then you enter a small rush, as several ships from the same area are all lifting off into space. But when you're approaching the escape corridor to jump into hyperspace with the coordinates, it looks like 2 of the Outer Rim Survey Corps' massive carriers have lined up in interference. They're trying to stop you. You need to run the blockade to get
I
past
am
them.
full throttling straight through.
All right. Just like before, you are going to have upgrades as they're going to try and shoot you down. In fact, a lot of ships are going to try and shoot at you. Because look, the pitchfork's up in orbit too.
Did we co-pilot for that before? Can we even? I'm not sure.
I guess Fancy Flying could still avoid fire. So yeah, I don't think you did it last time because you didn't. Zito.
It was structured time last time. That's why.
Well, yeah, and also, that's right, because you have to spend the maneuver. Yep, okay, so let me go ahead and do another co-piloting check for Vanris. Where the heck is the freaking dice pool?
It's up. It's always up.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4.
I just popped it out in a new window. I didn't want to deal with it like overlapping.
Yeah, probably should have done that. I am going to add upgrades to her check as well, because maneuvering still risks being shot at. Alright.
Well,
so
that's
she,
interesting.
yeah, she actually gives you a lot of downgrades, but the Sunflare does get hit.
A lot of
However,
oh,
how about this? You do get hit, but because it's the Triumph, you're not going to get hit by the carriers that actually have turbo lasers. It's going to be by one of the smaller ships.
Okay.
Unless you have another suggestion.
I mean, it's the co-pilot, so I don't know.
How I'm figuring that is you're getting downgrades because Vanris is also helping out your fancy flying by adding in maneuvers. So at the same time, you're still moving and being shot at.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. You're not
Fair.
really making progress yet. It's like an investment.
Gotcha.
Oh, this isn't the same token from before.
No. I think it was at 5, or no, 12.
I can just
max.
bring in the.
But I also had R7 slowly repairing it potentially. I don't know how if that did anything.
Well, the thing is, you can only do the.
Once per income.
Yeah, but the problem is, he had no spare material.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it definitely does say only limited repairs are available outside of dockyard.
And that's why your flying isn't compromised. The ship's still damaged, but you can fly just as well as you could.
That's fine. I just wanted to make sure that was an account, in case. So.
All right, let me bring over the actual token. There we go. And it's going to be shot by one of the smaller blasters. I'll say it's just base damage, which is it's 5, so it just hits the armor.
Okay, so yeah, that's fine.
All right, now for your piloting check.
What does that do to it? 3 downgrades?
Yeah, 3 downgrades, which actually means there's only going to be 1 upgrade.
Are you putting those in, or am I?
I'm putting in the difficulty upgrades.
Okay. All right, and no other modifiers on it, right?
I'll flip.
As will I.
Okay, yeah, difficulty's good to go.
And piloting go. I'm gonna second chances that.
I'm not even going to make you burn your piloting reroll, just going to get second chances. Rat. Alright, knowing the difficulty, make your pick.
I'm going to pick that yellow one and another random yellow one, because I already have a ton of triumphs. Or a ton of...
the blank yellow and the single, probably.
So,
yeah, the blank yellow and the single.
Alright, leaving you with a failure but 6 advantage. You need to get 2 successes to succeed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and go. Yep.
That certainly does it. Alright, certainly with the advantage, no one's able to get a parting shot. The Sunflare is assailed by a barrage of fire from both the carriers and from the freighters trying to pass it, but unfortunately, while everyone gets bogged down, the Sunflare is able to slip between the blockade. And do you want to do another astrogation?
The last one was like crazy, wasn't it? What was the last one?
Yeah.
But we had to get like a really good map this time, though.
Well,
did that help at all?
The quality of the map is the same. What was noteworthy is that while the other maps led only to the next marker, this one charted out the entire path. So you get the same amount of information. It's just that now you have kind of a record of the journey.
Okay.
So yeah, the difficulty is going to be the same as you rolled before.
Yeah, I don't remember what that was, but
it was formidable. Was the base difficulty?
It's brutal.
It is. Would I be able to get an unskilled boost on it?
Yeah, I mean anyone can give you an unskilled.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ziva will help for whatever it's worth.
Okay.
Right.
Actually, I could even technically get a skilled assist from Pip. Oh no, Pip has 4 or 5 ranks.
4.
Oh yeah, so it's exactly the same. So yeah, unskilled from Zivo.
All right.
Unless someone has a higher int.
The difficulty is set. I don't think, and the Vanris only has 2 intelligence.
Okay. So
Unless your astromech is smarter.
And I'm flipping.
Is your astromech smarter?
I think it is.
I think they usually have like 3 intelligence, don't they?
Let me check.
It should. This is like what they're designed to do.
Yeah, no, it has 3.
All right.
So yeah, skilled assist with the astromech.
All right. R7 pulls into the cockpit, sticks his interface into the console. Pippa goes, "Oh my!"
So just
At least buy me dinner first, and then make your calculation. The difficulty's set.
okay, and I'm missing it. Here it is. Go.
Woo-hoo!
There's one less success, but yeah, got it. Threat though. Lots and lots of time.
Yes, and that will be dealt with next time as the Sunflare jumps into hyperspace. Not as a synced ending as the last time, but
Oh no, that first one was amazing.
yeah, that was a one. That's 100. All right, but the Sunflare escapes into hyperspace while the rest have to deal with the Survey Corps' probably short-lived blockade since they need to get places too. But all right, that brings the fourth and final mini episode of a race down the dead road.
A Days Down the Red Road.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's late. To an end. Hooray! So XP base 15. I will give 1 XP for someone who isn't even here because even I was impressed. Vanris managed to pull off that roll with a double triumph. So +1 for Vanris pulling it out. And if you have any suggestions,
Spotting the map through the hole in the wall across the buildings.
that was a bit of an interesting idea since you were willing to take a risk on it. Yeah, and it was a pretty hard roll. All right, yeah, +1, 17.
We kind of, though we messed everything up at every turn,
We really did.
we still kind of got the desired outcome.
I mean, the reward for that is continuing the race.
Fair enough. But literally nothing went right.
Yeah, I know. We failed so many rolls, or had so much threat that it may as well have failed.
Well, Zero's just good at many things that were not relevant this time out.
The piloting checks went mostly well, and the astrogation, despite the threats, did succeed. But
Sure.
man, all those other checks.
Right, the entire middle part of the adventure, not pretty.
Yeah, that's kind of how it was with me and Vanders the last two.
Oh, Zero did nail a bunch of the lore checks to learn about some of the ancient stuff going on.
You did.
Ancient Hut Sith history.
For understanding more about the contrast between standard hut society and the huts that seem to be isolated in the dead road, I'll add one more. So 18, and I think surviving despite the dice roller having a grudge against you is its own reward as well. So I'll cap it at 18.
All right.
All right.
That should go in the XP notes, just as a general bonus thing, you know. Surviving the dice roller's ire.
The bonus is simply just surviving.
Yes.
All right, that works.
All right, and I'm not going to make the same mistake I made today and waiting until I get the banner touched up before putting it up. So I'm actually going to be putting up the event for tomorrow right now, even though the banner probably is not going to be put on it until tomorrow.
Banner in the grand scheme of things is much less important than having the thing there.
This is true, and this is what I realized when I was out to lunch and realized, oh shit, I didn't have the banner up yet.
I'm assuming it's going to be at noon or...
Yeah, it's going to be noon Central Time going to... it could go to 3, it could go to 4 Central Time.
Yeah.
It all depends on you.
If that was Eastern time and ended at 3, I could potentially do it, but definitely not the time it is.
Yeah, that means it would have to end at 2. I'd have to start at 10, which basically means I wake up and start jamming. That does not sound good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just because I have a wedding to go to.
I mean, it's not like I mean, if we have such a poor turnout, I may decide to do what I had to do with the Royal Gambit and push it back to a better time. It's just unfortunately this weekend is quite booked full with me.
Yeah. I'll keep my eyes open. I can't do a lot, but if things start moving around, I'll take a look.
Yeah, but I won't be able to play tomorrow, so good luck to whoever happens to be there. Make sure you put an announcement in like the chat thread so that whoever can make it can see it.
Yeah, I'm gonna
just
put up
like-
the event, link it in the Reddit, and then put it in the Hangout that the new event's up.
Yeah, thanks for GMing. It was another good one. How much of this, just out of curiosity so far, like how much of this is in the book and how much of this is just a fabrication?
Oh, nothing. Like, aside from... So, there is, the Dead Road encounter module in the back of the book. That only deals with the fact that there is a system called Bibis that's on the Dead Road that deals with ancient hut ridges. That's about it. Everything.
Because I'm planning on running that eventually for my group, and I remember the droids that you described in the one part, I think were from that, right?
Yes, but I had to up them, of course, to deal with the
us.
super PCs. But yeah, basically.
And I still made mincemeat of most of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, most of those, the modular encounters in like the sector books are like super open-ended and short.
Yeah, I mean they're meant to be a part of a whole, right?
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, I probably got a lot more directly from the book for the Gahar incident than I did for this one. Like, because for the Gahar incident, they specifically listed out, hey, there are these specific agents trying to play the scene. And that was like 3 of the sessions.
Yeah, so I mean, it'll be nice after tomorrow. Aiden will be able to actually purchase Stimpaks again and get back up to this 9 that he needs because he's gone through, I think, 4 or 5 so far. No, 5, I think. 5 Stimpaks over the course of this week. It's been rough.
Well, this is just a brutal. Like, we just didn't have the stuff that
we need.
Like, Nardell would have been perfect today.
Yeah. Or even just having a third body.
Yeah, more body's good too.
Yeah.
It's just like Zebo is excellent at what he's excellent at, and what he was excellent at is not helpful with crocodiles.
Yeah. He would have, like, the one social encounter
and he's not exactly a slouch in combat either. It's just that thing was a monster.
Yeah, he's not great. His gear makes him better than he is. He's decent at melee. He's not great at ranged, but his rifle is accurate 3, so it kind of makes up for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love having accurate on my weapons. I mean, it's just kind of an extra, like, I don't need to aim because I already have a boost, that thing,
Well, right, and if you do a lot of close-in stuff, the electronic sighting system gives you an aim as an incidental at short range, which is really nice.
That is nice, but at the same time, like, I have my maneuver economy already breaks the game sometimes anyway.
Yeah.
Because there's generally like one big combat, right? And if we're in a regular sized group, like in a 2-person group, it's a struggle. But in like a regular sized group, like I can usually just save it for the big one and then just run all over the game's combat balance with those maneuvers. Not even so much from a damage standpoint, but just, like being able to double aim every turn if I need to.
Right.
Or just move all the way across the map.
Right. Across an entire, half city in 2 turns.
I remember. I think Jack was jamming that time too. The one where I went up like the whole building basically in one set of maneuvers.
Was it like
that? Was the one where we were trying to find Macron?
Yep. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I put unmatched mobility on and just ran straight up the high rise.
Yeah, I think I talked about how you saw some of the people scrambling inside. They might have seen you. I was like, what the hell is that?
Yeah, left Hawk in the dust halfway up, I think. But yeah.
Doesn't it seem kind of, now that we're restricted in who we can invite to this because Google Plus decided to be a bitch, doesn't it seem kind of, is there any point in putting in that whole giant blurb after the session description about how 6 players max with all that jazz?
Yeah, someone could still get to it from the subreddit.
Yeah.
And at the same time, we also don't know how many I don't know how many players Roll20 supports. I have no idea. Especially with its audio system, because I mean, any VoIP system is going to get a little strained once it gets beyond like 4 or 6 people.
Right.
Like, I mean, you can tell like the noticeable drop in quality in Hangouts once you go beyond 4 is like, oh wow, okay.
All right.
Yeah, I think it's worth leaving because people could stumble upon it, and frankly, it's looking like we could use some new people potentially.
Yeah.
That's true. All right. I know it doesn't concern either of you, but I have put up the event.
All right, I'll keep an eye on it in case things move around.
Yeah, if they move to either next week or next weekend.
Oh, holy shit.